Hi there. Today I'm going to be reviewing two tea infusers for you. One of them is the OXO Brew Tea Infuser Basket. Box looks like this. The other is the Yoassi Tea Mesh Strainer. It's a very similar type, and I'll tell you the main objective here in just a second. You can get the directions off the Yoassi tea infuser here, and on the OXO Brew tea infuser you can get a good look at the back here to see what it looks like before we open it. So the idea here with these two tea infusers is to see which one filters out the tea better, and there's two tests we're going to do. The first test is going to be with tea bag tea, but not from the bag. We're going to take it out of the bag and put it into the infuser and brew it, and we're going to see how good it keeps the particles out. And we're going to do that with both of these teas. We're using an oolong tea. We're going to, like I said, empty the bags into these two cups and see out of the OXO Brew and the Yoassi Tea Mesh Strainer which one filters better. And then the second test is we're going to be using this yerba mate, and we're going to be packing 3 tablespoons into the tea infuser and seeing if it actually infuses the tea completely, or if having that much tea in the infuser doesn't allow it to completely get all of the tea wet and really get you the full essence of the tea. Alright, so let's go ahead and open up both of these boxes here. We've got the Yoassi Tea Mesh Strainer. Go ahead and take it out. And the OXO Brew Tea Infuser Basket has some instructions in there. And looks like they're very similar in size. The OXO is wider, I can see, probably both about the same height. There is the OXO tea infuser. You can see that lid here. See those fine pores. Here is a close-up of the Yoassi tea infuser. Nice cap that fits on very nicely. So these are two of the best-selling tea infusers, and I do see why they would both be really nice. Just at a quick glance, I will tell you that I like that the Yoassi tea infuser is all what appears to be stainless steel, and there's no rubber on it, and it fits nicely into the cap here. With the OXO, I like it, but it doesn't fit in. It sits on top nicely. It is snug there. It's meant to fit, meaning it fits. It's just that it does have some rubber on it, and yeah, I'm not sure what I think about that, but that's just something to know about the OXO versus the Yoassi. So let's go ahead and get to the point and brew some tea and see how these stack up to each other. Okay, so I've taken the time to wash both of the tea infusers, so I think that's a good idea. Over here we have the Yoassi. Over here we have the OXO. So let's get these both ready to go. Emptying our loose leaf tea into the OXO tea infuser. Emptying our loose leaf tea into our Yoassi tea infuser. Pouring our boiling water over our Yoassi tea infuser. Pouring our boiling water over our OXO tea infuser. Going to go ahead and cover the OXO tea infuser. Going to go ahead and cover the Yoassi tea infuser. We're going to let our tea steep for about 3 minutes, and we're going to check and see how it is. Alright, 3-minute timer has gone off. We're going to go ahead and remove our Yoassi tea basket infuser from the tea, and we're going to go ahead and remove the OXO tea basket tea infuser, and we're going to take a look inside. So let's take a look. So we've got our Yoassi tea infuser on the left and our OXO infuser on the right for our tea bag tea inspection. And if we look down into the tea for the OXO, you can see that there are some grounds in there. And if we look down into the Yoassi tea infuser, you can see that there are some grounds in there. And I'd say it's very close between them. They both did a good job for this type of tea, but obviously they both leave a little grounds in them. So it's really hard to say which one I would say is better because it's a very similar amount. Maybe the OXO has a tiny bit less than the Yoassi. Very difficult to say. Could you look at these teas really quick? Tell me, do you think that one of them has more grounds in it than the other?
This one has slightly.
Okay, so maybe the Yoassi tea infuser
But it's very close.
Left slightly more grounds, but they are very close. Thank you for that opinion there. So we've seen how the tea infusers work with the ground tea that comes out of the tea bags, which is very fine. Both of them didn't completely keep the grounds out, but they both did a pretty good job. Looks like the OXO did a little bit better than, or the OXO did a little bit better than the Yoassi. Now we're going to go ahead and go forward with the yerba mate test. Okay, so we're ready to do our yerba mate test. Go ahead and add our OXO tea infuser to the top of our mason jar. And we'll go ahead and add our Yoassi tea infuser to the top of our mason jar. We're going to add 3 tablespoons here. This is a pretty fine yerba mate, so we'll see how it does. All right. So the first flaw that I can see is when you're pouring the tea over it, it's going to raise up, so you're going to have to slow down a little bit if you have a significant amount of tea so that it doesn't overflow. It's taking its time to flow through the pores of the OXO tea infuser. So there we go. Pouring our water into our Yoassi tea infuser. And same thing, you can see you're going to have to slow down a little bit to allow time for your tea to not overflow. Both our Yoassi and our OXO tea infusers are full. We're going to go ahead and let them steep, see how much of, if any, of the loose leaf yerba mate gets through. So we've had time to let our tea steep. We're going to go ahead and look at how the OXO did versus how the Yoassi did. And looks like they both did a pretty good job. I do want to point out that I did stir the tea around a little like this in both the Yoassi and the OXO, just to make sure that it was completely submerged in the water, and it did work. And so I'd say 3 tablespoons is good. You can do that with a yerba mate tea and still be fully covered by the water. So I did like that. So both of them did a good job on that. So let's go ahead and just see how much of the tea got through the infuser. Well, I can already tell you that I can see on the Yoassi, it appears that a little bit more of the fine grains of the yerba mate did get through the tea infuser than on the OXO. They both look pretty good, and there's usually a little bit of fine sediment on the bottom of my yerba mate whenever I use any kind of infuser, so that can kind of be expected. As you can see, they both look really clear on the top. We're going to go ahead and take a close-up look here now. With this test, regarding the Yoassi tea over here and the OXO tea here, let's move them closer together in the light. So on the right we have the OXO, and there's a fair amount of settlement. Now we have on the right the Yoassi, and you can see that there might be a little more, but it's very close with both of them. Put our Yoassi tea back to our Yoassi side. So all things considered, I definitely like both of these tea infusers. I think the OXO did a slightly better job on the more fine tea with the tea bags than the Yoassi did, but they were both so close that it's really hard to determine which one is better. But let's just say, for example, that the OXO wins in the way that maybe it filters slightly better and it's slightly wider, which might give you a little more room for a little more tea, but it kind of gets maybe a little thumbs down for not fitting quite on top like the Yoassi does, and so maybe we could take a point off for that. Overall, they're both really nice. I really do like the shininess of the Yoassi tea infuser. It's a little more shiny, but it did a good job as well. If I was really to say, oh, I'm going to decide which one of these is the winner, I might choose the Yoassi only because it doesn't have the rubber on the top. Now the rubber is really not touching the tea unless you overflow it, but that might be a winner for me because of that. But other than that, they're both top sellers. So I think that you could go with either one of them and you're going to get a good value for your money. And I think that it is a handy tool to have around. I'm going to be using these on a regular basis. So I definitely give them both my stamp of approval. And like I said, maybe I would give Yoassi slightly higher only because it doesn't have the rubber and this just sits in here so nicely. That being said, that's my review of the OXO versus the Yoassi tea infuser basket. I like them both. I hope you liked this review. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share this video, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.